My name is Hank Willis Thomas, and the work that I have in the show are Amelia Falling and What Goes Without Saying. Amelia Falling is a mirror piece that is based off of a photograph by a photographer named Spider Martin, who documented what became known as Bloody Sunday, which was March 7th, 1965. Civil rights marchers attempted to cross the Edmund Pettus Bridge, Selma, Alabama, and were stopped by the police and beaten. One of the protesters' name was Amelia Boynton, who was a mid-50s year-old woman who was an activist, and actually at the age, I think, of 109 in 2015. This photograph was captured of her in the right moment collapsing after being struck by the police. And what happens when you look at the way that we produced it is that in a mirror reflection in all of the space that is not Amelia and her two friends who are helping her. And so what happens in the moment is that you have a little bit of seeing yourself reflected in this historical moment. And a lot of my work is about the archive and trying to bring history forward and to ask us to kind of reflect on it in a more cool and kind of real sense, because so often with our archival photographs, at them then, and I think the space-time continuum might be more compressed than we think. I think a lot of my work is attempting to bring history, and I often use the archive as a way to build a connection between the past and now. And I think it's important for artists to find ways to make the archive feel relevant to the viewers. The piece What Goes Without Saying was the title piece for an exhibition I had in 2012. And I had become aware of a series of people in whipping posts. And I'd done a show about lynching and whipping, and it was called Strange Fruit at the Corcoran Museum. And I always felt guilty or implicated in a negative way in reproducing and representing their images, because I realized that maybe I was in a certain way, kind of reinforcing the trauma in a slight way. And I thought that I wanted to think about how is there a way to represent these images or these people empowering is at least respectful. And I guess the piece What Goes Without Saying is an attempt to make a space for people who are being abused or have been abused or are subjects of institutional violence to have their voice heard, or at least make us aware of the need for them to have a voice that's heard. A lot of my work, I'm really very much trying to ask the viewer not to be passive, but to actually think about passive participation or active participation in fighting against or certain injustices to occur.